So Liz Wiseman was working in the Oracle Corporation for 15 years in leadership development, and she had noticed that there were two types of leaders. Those leaders that seemed to get really amazing results out of their people, really great smarts and ideas, and then those leaders who seemed not to be able to do that. They seemed to have teams that were unenthusiastic, unproductive. And she started to explore and research that even more. And in her book, Multipliers, Why the Best Leaders Make Everyone Smarter, she pulled a whole load of research together that identified that there were leaders who were multiplier leaders, those leaders who got more intelligence out of people, and there were diminishing leaders, those leaders who shut the smarts of people down, almost reduced their brains down. And she then looked at the traits of a multiplier leader, and her book is based on those traits, those disciplines of a multiplier leader. There are 5 traits, 5 disciplines of a multiplier. My favorite discipline I'll tell you about is the liberator discipline. So what liberators are about how can you liberate the intelligence of people? How can you make sure that people are allowed to bring all their intelligence into a room? So again, some leaders tend to take all the oxygen in a room. They tend to be the talkers. They tend to be the ones that seem to have all the answers in a conversation, especially in a meeting. What the liberator discipline teaches is how a leader can play big when they need to, but actually play small for most of the time to allow other ideas, other contributions, other ways that your team can bring things to the table. So liberator discipline would be about when a leader needs to play big and small. Another part of a liberator discipline is allowing people to make mistakes, because we know that people learn most when they're not getting everything perfect, right? So allowing and creating space for people to make mistakes, creating a safe environment for make mistakes, but also making sure that people learn from those mistakes. So a liberator leader creates that environment. People can tumble and fall, but get picked up and be able to get on their journey again. Yeah, I think probably the big one is the always on person. Leaders are told to be present, to be active, to be going at it, to be driving. We've learnt that as a leadership model, but actually we don't realise the impact of an always-on leader. So what an always-on leader is a leader that's just there all the time, coming up to you, asking you what's going on, asking you where this is, where's that file, where's that report. They seem to be completely in your face all the time. In fact, sometimes we duck, don't we, when we see an always-on leader coming down the line at us. Now, their good intention, because remember, this is accidentally diminishing, their good intention is to keep progress, to keep momentum. But what actually happens is that people want to avoid them and step back. So again, if you are an always-on person, just realise the level of energy that you're coming into a room with. Perhaps you need to tone it down a bit, ask a few more questions rather than launch into where's this and where's that.